When we're talking about sucklings, we start like this. We pull them out, we put them in, and then they grow, they come to this. So in this area, we make a huge hole, we put in the suckling, and then when it starts growing, we have what we call family planning. On every hole, you're supposed to have 3, which is the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter. When we start having any more, we have to family plan them by, actually we destroy them. You know why we need family planning? Because the more Matooke you have in that circle, you won't get big bunches because all the Matooke is feeding off the same manure that you put in there. So we do family planning to get big bunches and also not to have them competing for the same resources. So yes, family planning is key, extremely key, because it also makes the Lusuku last longer. Yeah, makes the Lusuku last longer. Because from what I gather, our parents, when they were doing these Lusukus, they lasted for 50 years. But yes, family planning is spacing. Yes, yes, it's spacing. You need spacing so that the Matooke have to have nutrients, but they don't compete for the same nutrients. I suggest start small, which I also did. I started with 100 sucklings. So 100 sucklings is a small plot, but I got them, every suckling, as I showed you, comes at 1,000 shillings. So I got 100, but then I got them for free. The land was also free. It was my mother's land, so I planted. So it was my research and development to understand if I put one section with manure, how will the other section without manure develop? What's the cost? The fertilizers, do I need fertilizers? And then the pests, what type of pests? How am I going to handle the pests? So I started with 100 sucklings, which were free, but then I had to buy the manure. So the manure was about 10,000, which I had to put in about 100 holes, and then put in the sucklings. Then I have the labor. So the labor costs for every hole, they were charging me 500 shillings. Every hole, they were charging me 500 shillings just to dig. So when I put in the suckling, and then I put in the manure, and then we covered, because it was the same team, I was another 500 shillings. So each time I was paying them 1,000 for a hole to get the hole done. Because when you're looking after Matooke, what we've realized that the digging of those holes is a specialty, and not everybody knows that. So when those guys cleared, I gave them their money, and then we went. So then the team that looks after the Matooke came on board, and I was giving them a salary. I could not handle giving them every time they dug. So a salary was what I could handle, and that's how we functioned. Yeah. The costs vary on how much you want to put in a place. So now this one being it's a 2-acre, we decided to go for 1,000 sucklings. So 1,000 sucklings is what we got. And the costs on that one were quite high because we had to clear this being a bush, clearing it and bringing it down to a level that can be seen, then plus digging of the holes. That stretched me, and I asked myself, am I really the right person to do farming, you know? But the peer group kept on saying, you've got to do it, you have to do it, you have to do it. Here you have to have security because people steal your Matooke. So we bought a tent, We bought dogs, and most of the money is labor. Yeah, so. But with 15 million, meaning it's for the 3 years. So the money is never there. Somehow you look for it, and then you put it in. Because having money like that for me is very difficult. It goes to other frivolous things. So I kept on getting it from somewhere, looking for it, borrowing. And you know, when you're starting a business, who do you borrow from? Friends and family. Yes, so that's what I was doing as well. My idea of return on investment was to be 3 years. So we did 2020, which was the COVID year when the pandemic came. The return on investment that year was on point. Now, 2021, we've not done the books as yet, but the idea was in 2022 to be, to have recouped that amount of money. Yes, but 2020 was a good year. It gave us a good boost. 2021, we have to go in and look through that to see, because 2021 will be ending March. The way we do it, it's March. That's when we do it. And then we'll see, you know, because there's this thing that you can't make money in agriculture, but it depends what one is looking for. Most people tend to have agriculture and then something else. So agriculture becomes like a side gig. Initially, mine was a side gig, and I was working for renewable energy when the pandemic struck, where the people had to be let go because there was no one buying our products. So I was lucky enough that this was here, and then we took off with it. So, but did I like Matooke from the get-go? No. When I was a small boy, my mom took me to her mother's, with my Jaja, and I was walking with Jaja. I was 5 years old. I remember this, and I remember she was putting ash on her Matooke, and I was like, I'm thinking, ash? But in those days, we could not talk to our grannies. We couldn't ask questions. But I didn't realize that Jaja had planted a seed. So when I came here, and I said to myself, what can I do with the little money I have? Because I was going to use it without having anything to see. I asked for land, and they gave me the land, and became Matooke. Matooke became the passion. Everyone can do it. You don't have to be a bookworm. You don't have to be a book learner. The beauty of Matooke is that all of us in our background, we have a Senga, we have a Jaja, a grandparent, an auntie, an uncle, or someone in the village you have seen planting Matooke. So if you are to start your own, you have a resource to call someone and say, I have this problem, what can we do? So with land, anyone can plant Matooke. There's a difference though. For me, this is commercial. And then there's also what they call home. So when people are planting for home, they don't want to sell. They'll rather give you. But for me, when I started, there's no giving. It's you buy. The people put investment here. My team digs, they struggle. We dig, we struggle. We can't give it away. So that's where sometimes there's a cultural difficulty. People don't understand that you have to sell Matooke. But you know, it's a business. Thank you so much for joining us over here. And wait for the next episode. This is the Lusuku with Uncle Colin. Bye. Wow.